fortune lies beyond the stars. Those dazzling heights too fast to climb. I got so hard to fall so far.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So I have been wanting to film a breastfeeding tips and tricks for quite a while now. I have been exclusively been breastfeeding for 9 months. We are pushing 10 months, have no signs of stopping anytime soon. People ask me all the time when I plan on stopping. At this point, I say I want to stop at a year old, but we'll just have to see. So I wanted to give you some tips and some tricks on some stuff that I learned along the way of our breastfeeding journey. If I keep looking over, he's just moving around freely, so I'm trying to watch him and film at the same time. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and get back to this. So I don't have too many tips, but I do have a few here and there that might help you out. So tip number one, I'm pretty sure tip number one, you know what tip number one is gonna be. It's a very repetitive tip that everyone says. Drink lots and lots of water. If you feel like you drank enough, drink some more. Water is so crucial to your breast milk. If you don't have any water in your body, you will go into a dehydration mode and your body will not produce milk anymore. So please, I won't nag you about it because I'm pretty sure it's something that you guys hear all the time. But please listen to everybody and drink lots and lots of water. You can have caffeine if that is your decision. You're more than welcome to some coffee, some regular coffee, or some nice ice cold tea or warm tea if you want. But yes, please make sure you add or drink lots and lots of water. So that is tip number one. Tip number two is eat. Eat what you want. Don't worry about your weight. I'm telling you, if you are going to be breastfeeding, make sure you eat. Now, as you guys, most of you guys know, I am on the keto diet. Now, the keto diet, I will get into what that is in another video, but the keto diet basically is you get rid of all the bad carbs and you eat nothing but good carbs. So what I mean by that is you get rid of pasta, you get rid of rice, you get rid of bread, you get rid of all those nasty, bad, unnecessary carbs, and you eat good carbs. So that's basically what the keto diet is. It worked for me. I'm still producing milk, like I haven't even changed. So that worked for me. It may not work for everybody, but I mean, hey, if you want to give it a try, check out my other keto videos. I will link my first video right here somewhere. I'll put up a little pop-up so you guys can take a look at my keto videos. Join me on that journey. It has been amazing so far. So tip number three is skin to skin. Skin to skin is very important. When you first have your baby, it's such a natural way to get your milk going. Even when you leave the hospital, obviously, like when you first have the baby, they tell you, oh, let's do skin to skin right away. That will help your milk go. It'll help it come in and do skin to skin. I did skin to skin with Elliot for a while. He's 9 months, almost 10 months now. So I think I did skin to skin until he was almost like 4 months, to be honest with you. It's just a natural way, a natural stimulation for you to get your milk going. So it'll help stimulate your milk. It'll help everything flow. So that is a good tip. I think we're on tip number 5. So tip number 5, let your baby eat whenever whenever he or she wants to. If she's hungry or if he's hungry, make sure you latch him or her on for however long they want to. I don't know if most of you guys understand what cluster feeding is, but basically it is when a baby just wants to be latched on, and that's all he wants to do is just eat, 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 and eat, and you're done for like 5 minutes, and then he wants to be latched on again. That's basically what cluster feeding is. It's very hard to do. I dealt with it with Elliot for the first 3 months, I believe. For his first 3 months, he cluster fed the whole 3 months, and we did it. We worked through it. I cried through it. I tolerated the blisters and the pain, and yeah, cluster feeding wasn't very easy, but if I can get through it, you can get through it too. If you want, I will leave an article or something down below about in my description box about cluster feeding, just so you can get a little bit more information about what cluster feeding actually is. Ask your doctor about cluster feeding. Ask the pediatrician or ask your lactation consultant would probably be the best way to go about that. Ask them, get some actually one-on-one hand on what cluster feeding is and how you can go about fixing it, or how you can go about just going through it. Tip number 6. Tip number 6 would have to be comfort. If you are nursing your child and you are uncomfortable and you feel pain, make sure you have a good latch. Make sure you are getting the full nipple and areola into the mouth. You have to make sure he has a very good latch, because if you don't have a good latch, that's where blisters come from. I learned that at the beginning. I actually had one of my good friends who is she's very passionate about breastfeeding. Her name is Karina. So I actually had her come over and help me when I was still in the hospital. She tried helping me latch on. This was before I saw a lactation consultant. I was given a nipple guard that wasn't even the right size, and to find out I didn't even need a nipple guard to begin with. So yeah, I had my friend come over and she helped me latch. Just make sure you have a good latch, because if you have a good latch, then you're gonna have a good suction motion, and when you have that good motion, you will have a comfortable breastfeeding experience. Make sure you are not hunched over. That will cause a lot of pain and discomfort in your back. So when you're feeding your baby, make sure you don't bring the nipple to him. Make sure you bring the baby to it. Do not ever hunch over, because it will cause a lot of strain on your back and it will be extremely uncomfortable. And make sure you have a lot of support when you are breastfeeding. I know when I first started breastfeeding Elliot, I was extremely thirsty. Like, as soon as he latched on, I would sweat. I would just want to down water. So I always keep a cup of water next to me. I still am very thirsty when I'm nursing him. I don't really sweat as much anymore, only when it's hot, and because he's on me, you know, it's just a hot thing to do, I guess. So I do keep some water next to me usually. So that's what I do. So yeah, make sure you are doing that. The whole process of breastfeeding is beautiful, but just remember that you will not produce as much milk per se as when you pump. When you pump, you won't produce as much milk as you would when you naturally breastfeed. When you naturally breastfeed, like with the baby, a one-on-one with the baby, and you naturally breastfeed, everything is stimulation. The whole skin-to-skin contact, the motion of the jaw, the touching, the smell, the saliva, everything that comes with breastfeeding is all a wonderful stimulation for your milk. So if you feel like when you're pumping and you're not making enough milk and you're like, man, I'm not getting enough, I'm not getting what I want, I'm not getting what he needs or she needs, you know, I'm not getting it, try latching them on and let the baby stimulate your milk, because that he or she will be the best stimulation for your milk. That's something that I learned earlier on, because I tried pumping at the beginning, it just didn't work with me. Still doesn't work with me, just not my thing. Some women swear by pumping and some women don't, and so I think that's why I think it's so awesome that we all have our own opinions about pumping. But just keep in mind that your best milk stimulation will be the baby. That will be your best milk stimulation. Hi. Tip number 8. Tip number 8 is a very simple tip. You don't have to obviously, you don't have to take any of these tips, but this is just something that worked for me, and hopefully it will work for you. I don't know if you guys have seen breastfeeding bras. They look like a sports bra. They're very unflattering. They have a little clip right here that it flaps down so that you can nurse your child. I typically didn't like those. I just didn't like them. I don't know why. Maybe because they just looked a little funky. That's why I didn't like them. But I didn't personally like them. And then when I wore my regular bras with the padding, it was just uncomfortable, especially when you get super full and you get really engorged. It's a very uncomfortable feeling when you're really engorged. You feel like you're holding 2 sandbags on your chest, and they're implanted into your breast, and when you push on them, you could just feel every little ache and pain and every little. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. So this is my tip for you. If you haven't already thought about it, go out, give it a try. If you don't like it, at least you try it. I use bralettes. So if you don't know what a bralette is, just a regular bra. It doesn't have any padding in it. It doesn't have I mean, some of them do. Some of them have, are you walking over here? Are you being a big boy and walking over here? So anyway, so a bralette does not have any padding, heavy padding in it. And the underwired ones are still pretty comfortable, but this right here is a bralette. So they're super comfortable. It's just like basically like a piece of fabric covering your goods. But yeah, this is and they're so much more flattering. Like, they're nicer. They're just nicer. So this I really recommend for everyone to give it a try. My sister-in-law didn't work out for her, but for me it worked out great. It is very easy to maneuver because they are very stretchy. So when you have them on, they are easy to pull down and breastfeed. This by far saved me for breastfeeding. I loved doing this. But yeah, so go ahead and give that a try. If you like it, comment down below what your experience was of the bralette experience. If you don't already wear them, you know, because some women already wear them without breastfeeding. I mean, it's not only a breastfeeding bra. So tip number 9. I know it is hard for some women to actually produce milk. So if you go to like Target, I believe Walgreens sells them, but I know for sure Target does. That's where I would get mine. They have recipes online for lactation cookies. If you don't want to make them, I know that they do sell them. They are lactation cookies. There's lactation bars. There are lactation milks, like milkshakes. There are lactation it's like little powders that you could put into the water. There's a lactation tea. Now let me tell you, with the mother's tea, that I did not like the mother's tea. I didn't really care for the taste. I didn't care for the taste of mother's tea. So I tried other things. The lactation cookies were pretty okay. They weren't that bad. And then I tried the it's like a little powder that you put inside water and you shake it. It's like kind of like those crystallite things. But that was actually really good. That one was pretty good. My brother actually bought those ones for me, and I got them at Target, I think for like $40 for like a pack of, I think a pack of 40. I'm not exactly sure how many came in the pack, but they worked. So yeah, those ones actually worked really well. So if you don't produce enough milk and you feel like, you know, your milk supply is running a little low, Elliot's crawling all over the tripod. No, he's trying to learn how to walk. So I have like this little push lion that he pushes. and he walks with it, and he's doing really good. Okay, so tip number 10. Tip number 10 is something that I didn't really think of before I had my baby. Before I had Elliot, before I had him, I didn't think about anything else. Like, I knew I was very adamant about breastfeeding, and I really wanted to do it. I was very passionate. I'm still very passionate about breastfeeding. I think it's one of the most beautiful, most natural things in this world. So I didn't think about, you know, what if my baby came out and he couldn't eat because there was something wrong with him? Or, you know, I only thought like, oh my gosh, what if I don't produce enough milk, you know, like, or something like that. I didn't think that there could be anything wrong with him because everyone's baby's perfect when they're born. So this is something that you would have to ask your doctor if you haven't had your baby yet. This is going to be more so for the women that haven't had their baby yet. So tip number 10, this is going to be more so for the babies that are due. Elliot wouldn't latch on when I first had him. I tried, like I said, I tried the nipple guard. Turns out I didn't even need a nipple guard. He just wouldn't latch on. He was having a hard time getting a good latch when I first had him. So I asked for a lactation consultant. And when the lactation consultant came in, she actually brought in a nurse with her. So there was an RN there as well. And I was trying so hard to latch him on, and he would latch on, but he wouldn't stay on. He would just unlatch right away, and he was having a hard time with the whole jaw motion. And I thought it was something that was wrong with me. I thought I was doing something wrong. Well, it actually turned out that it wasn't my fault. I was doing the best I could. He was actually born with a tongue tie. Don't know what a tongue tie is. I will insert a picture right here of a tongue tie, and I will leave the website explaining what a tongue tie is in the description bar down below, just so you guys can get more information about it. If you want even more information, I suggest for you to talk to your doctor. So what happened is that he had a really bad tongue tie. It wasn't severe. It wasn't like a severe tongue tie, but he did have one which was stopping him to latch on properly. So they had to snip it. They cut his tongue tie, and then right after that, he didn't cry, he didn't, you know, bleed, he didn't need stitches. It wasn't oh my gosh, you know, it was nothing. Honestly, he got it done. He even got his circumcision done the same time, and he came back sound asleep. They didn't give him any medicine or anything like that. He just came back sound asleep, like a perfect little sleepy baby in his little rollaway bed in the hospital. And it didn't even faze him that he got his tongue tie snipped and that he got circumcised. So yeah, I would really, if you feel like your lactation consultant or your doctor hasn't mentioned it when you do have the baby, and you realize that the baby is not latching on properly, or you guys are having a hard time, if you're very passionate, very passionate about breastfeeding, don't give up. Do not give up. You know, do and ask every question that you can. Do whatever you can. I would just talk to your lactation consultant, just kind of suggest it, like, you know, oh, can you just give it a look, like maybe he has a tongue tie. Because I realized that with the tongue tie, he just wouldn't stay latched on, and I, honest to God, was crying because like I said, I'm very passionate about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding has been something that I've always wanted to do, and I would do it again. I would do it all over again. It's been a very beautiful, emotional experience that I've had with my son. So I would just recommend, you know, to don't give up. Ask questions, you know. Nobody gets smarter by not asking any questions. My grandpa's always told me that. You only get smarter when you ask questions. Those who ask questions are very passionate about what they believe in and what they're looking for. So I think if you really want to do it and something's just not working out, I say ask some questions. See 5 lactation consultants if you have to. I saw 2 in the hospital. and a nurse that tried helping me. So I mean, I think that asking questions is a wonderful idea. I say go for it. Don't give up. Do not let anybody discourage you during the whole process. The whole process of breastfeeding is supposed to be a beautiful, intimate moment between you and your baby. So don't give up. Don't let nobody discourage you. If you want to breastfeed till a year, that's your decision. If you want to breastfeed for 6 months, that's your decision. If you want to breastfeed for 6 years, that's your decision. At the end of the day, all that matters is that we have healthy, growing babies. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter whose else's opinion is there. That's just my personal opinion. You know, and just make sure that you're taking well care of yourself, because if you don't take well care of yourself, you can't take well care of somebody else. So those are my 10 breastfeeding tips for you guys, and I really hope this helps you guys out. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up, or just give it a thumbs up if you like this kind of video anyway. But yeah, if this worked out for you, or if you found help in this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment down below, like I said, if any of these worked out for you, or if you're like, hey, that was a good idea, you know, I'm gonna give it a try. Thanks so much, Allison. Comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And when you do subscribe to our channel, click the little bell next to the subscription box. That way it will notify you whenever we update a new video. So yeah, I really am so happy that I finally was able to upload this video. Like I said, breastfeeding is something that I am very passionate about, and I hope that you guys, those of you who want to breastfeed, or those of you who are breastfeeding, I hope and I pray everything goes out well for you. If not, I'm a formula-fed baby, and I am living to tell the day. There is nothing wrong with formula. There is nothing wrong with breastfeeding. As long as our babies are growing and healthy, that's all that really matters. So yeah, thanks you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye, you guys.